there, welcome back to Beauty Bees. I'm Iris, and today we are talking nail polish. That's not an uncommon occurrence on this channel, but today we are specifically talking about my nail polish picks for this time of year when it's winter, but after the holidays. I feel like there's a real distinction there, and sometimes we need some slightly different nail polish to feel like it fits. Of course, I'm not saying that you can't wear any nail polish any time of year, but here's kind of some polishes that I think fit this feeling, January, February. I did one of these videos in the fall, and the way I structured it was we talked about creams and then we talked about specialty finishes. Today we are looking at finishes together, but splitting it by mood. So here we have the neutrals for this time of year. I feel like this time of year really suits a nice cool toned neutral, sort of dreary kind of gray often. I also feel like gray can sometimes be just a little bit too flat and dreary, so I've brought in some blue and some purple as well. I would say that the only true gray that I have pulled here is Go With The Flow from Cuccio, and even that is a very blue toned gray polish. We have quite a range of depths here, so starting out with Trust Fund Beauty Got Yacht, which is a very deep blue, sort of an inky shade. Then we have this light lilac shade, which is You're Such a Budapest from OPI. Now this is actually acrylic. It's pretty similar in base color. It's a little bit more white and a little bit more pink than the OPI is. It has these little purple micro glitters in there that just makes it so much more fun. And this is Lolly from ILNP, and this still has quite a bit of gray. It is not a bold purple by any means. Then we go a little bit in a different direction and choose more of a warmer nude nail polish. This is Prancer from ILNP. It has quite a bit of holographic micro glitter in it. It's a scattered hollow, but that base color is such that this still feels very neutral on the nails. I just don't really like a true flat neutral. I like something to spice it up a little bit, hence the Crowley and then this beautiful hollow. I think another really fun option for this time of year is to dress up some of these cooler toned neutrals with a little bit of a contrasting topper. So this is one that I just got recently from ILNP and I think is just the coolest. This is Empress, and it is a very pink rose gold, little flaky topper. So here we have all of the polishes that I've discussed so far. So Prancer, Got Yacht, this is the Cuccio, here's the OPI, and then the ILNP Lolly. On these three nails, I have also painted over a little bit of Empress so you can see the contrast there. I feel like Empress is an awesome polish for these sort of neutral shades because it is still just a metallic, you know, you're not adding like a bright orange topper or something, but it has that beautiful contrast with these gray tones because it's a complementary color, and it's just stunning. So those are our not quite neutrals for this time of year. Next, we are moving away from neutral entirely and going into these super bold, saturated jewel tones. I feel like these rich colors are maybe a little bit more associated with the holidays, though probably more in reds and greens, maybe some golds. I just feel like these add a little bit of brightness and fun on those days where we really need it. I can't stand snow, so I often need a little bit of sunshine, lollipop, rainbows, everything that's wonderful during this time of year specifically. So let's talk about my picks. I have everything from pink to green. I don't feel like there's a lot of, oranges and yellows that really fit the vibe this time of year. They tend to feel a little bit too autumnal in these jewel tones, but I am absolutely adoring this shade of pink. This is Morgan Taylor J'adore My Manny, and I think it is just a gorgeous amount of shimmer. This looks like foil on the nails, and this pink is absolutely singing to my soul. I love this bold, I would say more hot pink, but almost leaning into magenta. It has a little drop of purple in there. Super saturated. None of these are cream finishes. I just feel like if you're gonna go for it, if you're gonna go these really bold jewel tone shades, you might as well add some specialty finish in there, right? The next one is about as understated as any of these can get, and I don't know if I can really call a deep purple hollow understated, but this is Zoya Payton. It is a deep plummy purple, definitely a red-based violet, with just loaded with hollow glitter. This is a pretty fine hollow. I would say it's more of a micro glitter, and it's pretty smooth on the nails. This is just gorgeous. This next polish is an indie. This is from Moonshine Manny, and it's the shade Arwen and Aragorn. I got this during polish pickup, and I feel like this is just such a fun polish. Now, it is a shimmery purple base, and then you have some red micro glitter in there. You also have this blue flaky, and it brings in actually a lot of the colors that are elsewhere in this spread, with that blue and that sort of pinky red, but it's all together in this gorgeous purple base. I feel like this is just so much fun. I think it's gorgeous. I've actually got it on my toes right now. I've had it on there for like 2 weeks, which is pretty uncommon for me, but I just can't quite bring myself to take it off. It's definitely what I need this time of year. And I could say something similar about this Zoya polish. This is a very different polish for Zoya. I feel this is Adara. I feel like they tend to play it pretty safe with their finishes. You tend to see hollows or shimmers or micro glitters that match the base shade. Here they've gone with this beautiful like cobalt blue, almost an Eve Klein blue, and they've added this pink micro glitter to it. And actually, I'm thinking about this ends up looking very similar to, say, a lighter version of this Trust Fund Beauty with Empress on top that we were talking about earlier. Maybe this could have gone in either section, but I feel like this belongs here with these other jewel toned polishes. It is so bold, but because you don't have, like a flaky, you just have this little micro glitter running through. It still feels very smooth on the nails, and it doesn't feel overwhelming at all. Beautiful polish. Next we have this super hollow shade from Zoya. This is Zoya Lennon. I bought this 70% because I considered it a Beetles polish, and I wasn't not gonna buy a Beetles nail polish, but this shade is stunning. It is this true teal with just a huge amount of this much larger holographic particle in there. So this is still a scattered hollow, but the particles are bigger than they are in the Zoya, in the other Zoya that we looked at, this plummy shade. And I think there's more of them. I think more of the polish and more of the base color is coming from these gorgeous holographic glitters. This is going to be very textured on the nail, but you can smooth it out with top coat, and it is a pain to remove, but worth it. Finally, we have this Lynn B Designs, so another indie. This is Never Gives Up Her Dead, and look at this shade. It's so blue and green and shimmery that it just glows. In addition, there's a little bit of, I think, hollow, but it's hard to tell. These hollow, I think micro flakies actually, that add this gorgeous little twinkle to the polish. Stunning. I am just amazed every time I wear this at how glowing it is. Are the polishes from the spread arranged left to right. I think you can see why I kept using the word, fun and bright and saturated when discussing these. They are just stunning. I think it's really funny actually how this Zoya polish just looks like straight up neutral compared to everything else in this lineup. These just make me really, really happy, and I will absolutely be bringing out each and every one of these over the next couple of months. They're just gorgeous. And then the last mood, we are looking at sort of a Snow Queen kind of energy. So these tend to be a little bit blue toned or silvery with a lot of sparkle. And we're starting out, I think, with an interesting take. I feel like this is a very cartoonish idea of what a Snow Queen would be. So this is from the Sally Hansen Insta-Dry collaboration with Mentos. I believe this came out maybe 2 years ago, and it's called the Fresh Maker. It is a white Crowley with these blue matte circle glitters of different sizes. And I feel like this is really fun because it just looks like animated snow from a Christmas movie. Think like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Frosty the Snowman. I feel like this could totally be in the background. It is just a really fun little polish for this time of year that doesn't go so dark or so gray. I really like this. The next polish is more of a standard, take on Snow Queen. In fact, this is called Cold Hearted. I believe that it is actually themed after the Snow Queen story by Hans Christian Andersen. And this is from Cuticula. Now, I think in the swatch, you can sort of see where I'm going with this. It's a very light base that reflects, I find, like pinks and golds very well. I've also seen on my friend it reflect a little bit more blue. On me, this tends to pull very yellow, and no one likes yellow snow. So I would probably wear this more as a topper, put it over something pink or something blue, and then it will pull more of those colors. I just don't want to see that yellow. Next, we have 2 takes on Silver Hollow. So first is the extreme take. This is Color Club on the List, and it is a sort of chunky hollow glitter. I have worn this as a topper before in one coat, and it is a little bit too dense to be a great topper, but it's very, very pretty, and it gives a really fun effect if you're okay with largely covering up that base shade. In 2 coats, you get pretty much full coverage, and it is very fun. Another one that is going to be a pain in the butt to remove, but very, very worth it. And then we have more of a subtle take on a Silver Hollow. Now, while on the list, basically all of the color is coming from these hollow glitters, in this Sally Hansen Hollow Glow polish in Euphoric. There is actually a gray base, and then there are some much smaller miniature hollow glitters running throughout. So this is a much more toned down polish. It's going to be way easier to remove and maybe feel a little bit more appropriate in some situations. I don't know that everyone would be down for wearing, you know, a full manicure of this to work, but you can get a taste of something similar with something like this. It's still silver, it's still hollow, you still get that little bit of Snow Queen energy, but you know, it's not quite as in your face. This next polish is from Rogue Lacquer, and I feel like this just feels like snow. This, unfortunately, I think is one of the polishes that does not have a name that I purchased from them. I purchased a mystery bag. So it had overpours from different events. It had prototypes. It had maybe some batches that just didn't quite turn out identical to what the maker had originally intended. And this one is a huge hit. It is really a shame if this doesn't exist elsewhere in their line. Now, it is a gray blue base with just so much going on. I think the, let's see, I would say that the dominant particles in here are a blue to teal and then purple flakies. I think there's also a couple different types of shimmer. I see what I believe is some purple micro glitter in there. This is a party in the bottle, but it is a very blue purple party in the bottle. It's just gorgeous. I love how it sort of centers on that gray shade. This is beautiful. It does sort of remind me of like those really purple streetlights. I don't know why, but in the last few years there have been streetlights that are just very purple toned that I see sometimes, them reflecting off of the snow when it's dark out. I think it's just stunning. And then last but certainly not least, we have one of the few green polishes in this video. This is Charge It to Their Room from OPI. And it's again sort of a dusky snow color. This reads as very blue. I don't feel like this is a neutral. And this is the type of polish that I would wear under, say, the cuticula, or really amp up the Snow Queen finish with maybe an iridescent topper. I really like this type of color, this lighter periwinkle. I guess this is a little bit deeper than I generally go in that family, but I feel like that's perfect for this time of year. And if I continue to make these videos, which I probably will, I suspect you will see a shade a lot like this show up in my spring one and my summer one, and I'll just make up a different story for why it should be there. I also feel like this would be a really fun one to do on most of your nails, and then do an accent nail with maybe the Rogue Lacquer or even the Color Club. I think that'd be really cute. Okay, so here we have the full color wheel. You can see there really are 3 different moods going on here. I think you can tell why I split the video in the way that I did. So here we have those jewel toned polishes, the Snow Queen feel, and then these not quite neutrals for winter. Let me know what you think of my picks for this time of year. Let me know what you've been wearing this time of year or are planning to wear going into January, February. I'd be really interested to hear about it as always. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.